Okay, and welcome back to the Galaxie trailer build. If you guys remember this one, it was going along really well until disaster struck. I totally forgot about this thing. I was cleaning out the garage and I found it up on a shelf, all covered in dirt and stuff piled in it and everything. And wow. How did I forget about this? Because, you know, it's odd because every day I stare at the bottom part of the trailer is right over there, holding the Trans Am right now. That part's all done and ready to go. But this part, I ran into disaster. If you remember, I had been painting it. It was painted white. I was using that Rust-Oleum epoxy paint, which is fantastic paint. The paint job was beautiful. Let me try to find the tailgate. Okay, there's the tailgate. And this is the way the whole thing looked. It was beautiful. You can still see, I mean, it allows the detail to come through. I had a couple of little problems here, but really like that paint job, like the paint. Everything was going well. The other side of that is the black diamond plate. So what happened on this one, if you guys remember, I had tried to use glue sparingly here in the crevice. There's a crevice that forms. This is not a one-piece shell by any means. It's just a bunch of panels that glue into each other, and they leave a crevice, they leave a crack. And I had just done a bunch of glue points. Let me turn up the exposure. It is almost impossible. This is actually the third time. Let me turn the exposure way up. That's not going to work. Is that going to work? But yeah, I had tried to film this a couple other times at night, and it was absolutely impossible to film. It does not want to focus on white. And so here I am in the daytime, you see out there, with the exposure turned way up. You can't see anything. So yeah, if you guys are having trouble filming and focusing on white parts, it is not you. I am a video hobbyist. I'm using a $1,500 camera here, and it won't focus on white, so it's not you. But anyway, what I had done here is I had used glue sparingly and just made a whole bunch of little points, glue points, and so that left a ridge, of course, left a channel there. Where am I? Right there. No, that's not really showing up there. But that was still, of course, showing after the paint. And I had decided, well, it's no big deal. Even after the paint, it's white paint. I was just going to fill it up with caulk. So white paint, white caulk, it was all going to just blend together. Well, it didn't. It wasn't the same shade of white at all. And so it was a disaster, and then it ended up being a double disaster because it was really hard to strip all that caulk out there. You know, Castrol Super Clean does not strip caulk, so I had to dig it all out of there, and this whole thing was in the strip tank for at least a month because the epoxy paint doesn't come off easy at all. And so that's why the whole thing kind of looks like flat white right now, is because after spending that much time in the strip tank, let me turn that exposure down a little more. It has left a kind of a flat surface to it. So I'm going to have to lightly wet sand the entire thing, which may lose some detail, but I think I've lost the detail anyway. and then give me a better surface to paint on. I have a brand new can of the white appliance epoxy right there, and it's a do-over basically on the body. So hopefully the next scene is, oh yeah, I've got to fill that gap. The next scene will be the gap filled with a whole bunch of glue or putty or something like that, and then we'll be ready to send it to the paint shop. Okay guys, it's been a while. I have been doing a lot of work to it. I changed my mind. I was going to fill that gap there, but I decided to gouge it out the rest of the way. And so just instead of trying to make a smooth surface, because if you look, it's uneven, and it's not even uneven the same all the way down. It is hard to film. Very, very hard to film. So what it was going to be, it was going to be an issue where it wasn't going to smooth out evenly. See what I mean? Like it's pushed out some places and pushed in some places. Long story short, it's going to look better just to gouge it completely out and make a clean channel there, a very clean groove. And I don't remember what type of glue I used, but all those little glue spots were much, much harder than the plastic, so it was a challenge to get it to be an even score. But I think I did it pretty well. And we're gonna paint it here today. Just wanted to show ahead of time. Now I have wet sanded the whole thing. The silhouettes you see there are paint cans. But it is nice and smooth now. If you remember, it had a effect. It's really, really hard to film. An effect happening from the purple pond. But I think I've got it all taken away now. I'm going to give up trying to film it. So basically I'm going to be using that appliance epoxy again and really concentrating to try to get a very good paint job on there. I cannot film that, especially here in the garage. There's no ventilation, so the paint kind of hangs in the air and sticks onto everything, including the camera. So the next scene will be probably after 2 or 3 or 4 coats of that, and it should look pretty good. So let's see. Okay, so here we go. It's all painted now. That's 3 coats, and I hope I can get some angles that makes it, gosh, visible. Okay, there we go. I'm starting to see a few things. So it's nice and shiny. Really like that paint. I had a little bit of a problem. I wasn't able to see what I was doing very well, and so I had a light coat where I hadn't quite put it on thick enough, and so the third coat I ended up having to put it on extra thick, so I ended up getting some runs. I'm trying to find them now. They are on this side. Anyway, they're right there. Not too worried about it because, well, I'm going to end up putting some kind of graphic on there, and of course it will be Topper Vision Racing. And I don't know what race car I'm going to put in there, but this will be a racing trailer. There's the runs right there. As you can see, they're not the end of the world, but they are runs. So I'll just have to get creative. I'm not going to paint this a third time. Oh, and there's a look at the channel up there. Pretty happy with the way that came out. A lot better than it was. I'll try to come around to the other side. There you go.
You know, I wish all these little marker lights were actual clear pieces, but no, I'm just gonna have to be careful and delicately paint those, like right there. And then there's some more in the front, and there's some on the tailgate, and so on. The front looks really good. I wish I had it on something that swiveled so that I could show you, but you're gonna have to trust me, the front looks good. Anyway, there it is at this point. I'm gonna have to wait for that to cure. I'm gonna give it at least a week, and then mask off these fenders. And I think I will paint them. I think I will paint them black because of all the rest of the black on there. And but that will be in the next update for this. And the next update, I'm sure, will be the final update, because there's really not much to the trailer. The whole bottom part of the trailer is done, and the tailgate is done. So it will be just painting and masking this and painting that. And I think there's a trailer jack that goes on the tongue. Oh, the graphics, right. I'm gonna have to put top revision racing, and that'll be something. Then I'm gonna have to come up with another tow vehicle, because I just got the one F350. But that'll be for another time. Just sharing this. It's coming back together, and we'll have this as a completed model soon. This is like project number 6 that's on the bench right now, but I'll get to it. Alright, thanks for watching, everybody.